Hey guys, so in today's video, we're going to be testing and reviewing the brand new Nars Light Reflecting Foundation. This is a foundation that is made up of 70% skincare and is apparently light as air on the skin. I am so excited to try this one. I've just been reading up about it on their website. It sounds absolutely phenomenal, long wearing, super lightweight on the skin, and it actually helps to improve like the look and the clarity and the health of your skin over time while you wear it as well. If you are new here to my channel and if you've not seen any of my other foundation reviews, basically we're going to go through the formula. I'm going to apply it on my skin nice and up close. I'm going to show you exactly what the formula looks like on my skin. And then I'm going to be wearing it all day. We'll do check-ins. We'll see how it lasts. We'll see if it melts off during the day or if it gets cakey or if it stays looking perfect. And for reference, I do have oily textured skin. So it's not always that easy to find foundations that actually work with my skin type. But yeah, we're going to really put it through its paces. And then I'm going to let you know whether or not this is worth all of the hype. Straight from the Nars website, see your skin in its best light with Light Reflecting Foundation. This is an innovative blend of makeup and skincare that blurs imperfections, smooths the look of textured skin, and helps conceal blemishes, dark spots, and redness. And then, like I said, it also apparently visibly improves skin clarity after 6 weeks of daily use. I did like clinical studies on this. It's got skincare ingredients that help defend against environmental stresses, blue light, it strengthens skin moisture barrier, suitable for all skin types, including sensitive skin, medium buildable coverage, natural finish, breathable, all-day wear, 36 shades. And I really like the thing that they end on here. Makeup that looks like skin, acts like skincare, feels light as air. I mean, Nars. That sounds incredible. Now, from what I can tell from the swatches of the foundation, the shade range does look really good. I'll pop a little picture of the swatches up on the screen. Price-wise, it looks like it is $49 USD. And here in Australia, you can get this one from Mecca, obviously, as per all other Nars products, for 73 Australian dollars. So let's actually open this up. This is what the external packaging looks like. It's just pretty much traditional Nars packaging. I got the shade Medium 3 Stromboli. For reference, this is the same shade match that I am in all other Nars foundations, so hopefully it actually, matches my skin as well. Oh, the packaging's really nice. Traditional sort of Nars looking packaging. It is a little glass bottle with a plastic cap. Just says Light Reflecting Foundation on the back, and then we have a little pump stopper at the top there. Okay, I'm just giving it a little bit of a shake. Let's have a look at the formula. All right, as you can see on the back of my hand there, the formula is quite runny. It does feel very, very lightweight. Kind of almost has like a serum kind of a texture to it. So super excited to jump into this one. Now, I've already primed half of my face. I have applied a pore smoothing and a mattifying primer on one side. Then on the other side, I've just got my normal skincare so that we can compare the two. And I'm going to be using one of our Nikkia Cosmetics Pro Perfecting Sponges to blend this in. So I'm just going to pick up a couple of dots of that. And I'm going to start applying it on my skin. It is incredibly lightweight. Oh, wow. But despite being so lightweight, it's actually blending out like quite well. Definitely does look like it's true to those claims of being a medium coverage product. Okay, just blending it out, and the shade does look fairly accurate, like it matches all of my other Stromboli shades. Whether or not it dries down or oxidizes, obviously we'll find out. Now, when you pump this one out, it does only dispense a tiny little bit of product. I'm just going to try it with a kabuki brush just to sort of see what I think of application with that. This is also from my brand. This is our Luxe Foundation Brush. I actually think potentially you might get a little more coverage with this one when using a brush. You can definitely apply it either way, but if you do want to build up that coverage, oh my gosh, it looks so pretty on my skin. But yeah, if you do want to build up that coverage, I would say use a flat top kabuki and kind of like buff it and work it into the skin. It is ridiculously lightweight. Like, that is a medium coverage. It's covered up redness. It's even covered up that big blemish that I had sort of underneath my mouth here. But it does not look or feel like I am wearing layers of heavy foundation. It looks really nice on the skin. Okay, moving on to the side with the primer now. And I'm still applying it with the brush just to sort of see, the results that we get. Oh my gosh, it looks beautiful over a primer. Definitely spreads further, so a smaller amount of product goes a longer way over the top of a primer. Again, not surprising. That's what a primer's meant to do. And I do think as well that it does build up coverage faster over the top of a primer as well. Switching back to the sponge to get a comparison. Oh my gosh. Yeah, guys, with a sponge and a primer, I would say it's a similar amount of coverage to a kabuki. Like, it really just depends on what you've got underneath it and how you, like, basically personal preference as far as application goes, because it's beautiful either way. Like, I don't think that you're going to be disappointed as far as finding this difficult to apply and blend out, no matter what method you choose. All right, so here it is all blended on my skin. Like I said earlier, definitely feels beautifully lightweight. One thing that I will say is it does sort of have like a satin kind of a finish, so it's not a complete flat matte, but it's also not super, super heavy or dewy. And I do agree, I think that it has helped to blur my imperfections and sort of smooth out, you know, my enlarged pores and stuff. Like, I do think that it looks really pretty. Let's zoom in. Here it is up close. I honestly think it's gorgeous. So in comparison to the side where we've got the primer, I feel like my texture is far more visibly reduced. You can sort of see a little more texture on my cheeks on this side without a primer than you can on this side with a primer. It's spread further on the primer, and it did actually give me a fuller coverage on the primer as well. But yeah, there's no caking so far, there's no settling, and it feels incredibly lightweight. So I would say pretty well all of the claims that they have made about this one so far are quite accurate. I'm honestly shocked that it's 70% skincare ingredients and it still looks this good on the skin. I kind of expected it to look like a hot mess on my skin. And not, you know, normally foundations that are that heavily infused with skincare, normally they're like cakey, emollient, they just increase texture and you don't get much coverage out of them, but this one looks really, really pretty. So yeah, so far I am quite impressed. I'm going to quickly finish off the rest of my makeup off camera, and then I'll come back and check in and show you what my skin is looking like then. All right, so I've got the rest of my makeup on and I've made sure not to put a highlighter on because I know you guys like to really see just how shiny these foundations get on my oily skin. You guys, a little bit of concealer underneath my eyes. I popped a little concealer down the bridge of my nose. Have not needed any other coverage on this foundation because honestly, the coverage that it provides is seriously gorgeous. Powdered down like an absolute dream. You know, I've got bronzer on, I've got blush on. I just feel like my skin looks ridiculously perfect. Like, there's no real other way to describe this. It looks sensational. I'll zoom you in. It's incredibly smooth. There's no texture. I feel like the foundation has definitely blurred out texture. We've got no settling. Everything is just so smooth and perfect. And still, you know, incredibly lightweight. Like, it definitely does not feel like I'm wearing a full coverage makeup. It just looks beautiful. I still think there is definitely more texture on the side where I have got no primer in comparison to the side where I do have a primer. I just feel like this side in general looks a lot smoother, but honestly, I'm so impressed. And it still just feels so incredibly lightweight. Like, definitely does not feel like I am wearing a full face of makeup. Like, it's just gorgeous. I really, really, really like this so far. So obviously that is it for the application. I'm now going to start our wear test. So I'm going to do this one. I'll probably check in about 6 hours and then I'll be back later on tonight before I take my makeup off before, you know, I go to bed and stuff. But we're going to be looking at about 14 hours total wear. I do love me a good 14-hour wear test. And Nars have promised that this will wear perfectly all day. So we will see how it goes. But yeah, first impressions, you know, thoughts on it after first application. It is absolutely a beautiful formula. I'm very excited to see how this wears during the day. Okay guys, so we are back with our first check-in. We are 6 hours into wearing this baby. And I've got to say, it is looking really nice on the skin. So obviously my oils have kind of started to come through now. We're looking a little bit more dewy, a little bit more glowy, but at the same time, no increased texture. I don't feel like there is any caking. There is no separating. And we also don't have any transferring off of the foundation, which is really exciting as well. Still feels really lightweight. Like, it definitely doesn't feel like I'm wearing like a full face of makeup. It's definitely a breathable, lightweight formula. But my skin, like, it just looks like flawless. And then with like a dewy setting spray, kind of applied over the top. Let's zoom in. Okay, so here we are up close. There is considerably more shine on the side where I haven't applied that mattifying primer compared to the side where I have. Like, you can sort of see a little bit more of a reflection around, you know, my T-zone here. But at the same time, like, it hasn't broken up. It hasn't gotten cakey. Like, I'm really, really impressed with how this foundation is wearing on my skin, to be honest. I don't think it's necessarily going to be one of the most mattifying formulas, and obviously it doesn't claim to be one of the most mattifying formulas, but it is just holding up beautifully well, especially for a foundation that has got 70% skincare. I mean, that is crazy, right? In 6 hours, like, it is looking beautiful. Just as a little comparison, the Soft Matte Complete Foundation from Nars, at the 6 hour mark, I am pretty much still entirely matte. So this one is decidedly more glowy, but yeah, she's still holding up. No caking, no separation, skin still looks really airbrushed. So those are my thoughts so far. I'm quite impressed with how it is looking. Interested to see what we are going to be looking like later on this evening once it's been on for, you know, essentially more than twice the amount of time. So I will see you guys in a little bit. All right, guys, so we are back with our final check-in of this foundation today. And as you can see, she is looking quite shiny. But at the same time, and much like my check-in earlier on in the day, and this is 14 hours, so it is a really, really long time, you know, as far as foundation wear goes. But much like I said earlier on in the day, even though those oils have come through and even though I am looking so shiny, we don't have any caking, we don't have any separation, we don't have any sort of like melting off the skin. It has stayed looking really nice and kind of holding its texture together, which I really, really love to see. So here is a side of my skin where we've used that mattifying primer. Again, it is looking much more together, much less shiny, much cleaner, much crisper. You know, there's still no texture. There's still no separation or kicking up or anything. There's just a whole lot less oil. And then this is a side without the mattifying primer. You know, it's still beautifully smooth. We've still got no movement. You know how I get that real build up of texture, especially on my chin, you know, as my oils have come through. But you know, it stayed really well held together even though all of this oil has come through. Actually quite phenomenal that even though I am so shiny and, you know, this has kind of gone down, it's quite phenomenal that the foundation has been able to hold itself kind of together. So, you know, here's my forehead up nice and close. My chin, my nose. Now, as you guys know, when I do these foundation reviews, when I do these wear tests, I really like to put the foundations through their paces so I don't actually touch up during the day. On a normal day, I probably would have touched up at about, I want to say around the 8 hour mark, but this definitely gives this a really, like, it gives us a much better impression and a much more accurate representation of just how well this formula is going to perform when really pushed through its paces. But now that we have got to the end of the day, let's actually do a little bit of touching up with a pressed powder. This is obviously our Velvet Finishing Powder, our pressed version. This does come with a little applicator, but I've lost mine. I think it's downstairs in my handbag. So I'm just going to use the foundation sponge that I used earlier, you know, to apply the makeup. And I'm just going to sort of start applying a little of this and just seeing how this formula touches up. Because this is obviously, you know, a really, really important contender with any foundation. Like, it's all well and good, you know, seeing how well it holds up to oil, but will it stay holding up to oil? That's really the thing. And oh my gosh, you guys, this literally looks, oh, I got a little bit of mascara transferring underneath the eye there. But this literally looks fresh and brand new on the skin again. Wow, I am so impressed with this formula. I honestly did not expect that a formula with this much skincare in it would actually perform this well. It's actually like quite surprising. Now I can see here after touching up, I have lost a tiny little bit of product off the end of my nose. But other than that, the foundation looks basically fresh again. It looks freshly applied. There is no cakiness still, no separating, no settling. It still looks smooth on the skin. Obviously, you know, that powder low-key does work magic. But that is the powder that I would normally use to touch up through the day. So this is the most accurate reflection of what it would have looked like had I touched up. I am honestly really impressed with this formula. I think that it's definitely a light reflecting formula. It's funny, when I originally read light reflecting, I was like, oh, does that mean it's going to be super glowy? But no, it's light reflecting in the sense that it helps reflect the light off the skin and stops your skin looking textured. So it helps to blur the skin, you know, minimize fine lines and pores and things like that. I think it definitely does that. It's a 70% skincare formula. Like I said, I can't attest to whether or not it's going to help improve the condition of my skin. Apparently that happens at about the 6-week mark. So, you know, it will visibly improve the condition of your skin because it's got so much skincare in it. I will obviously continue testing it and wearing it, and I will let you guys know whether or not I see a difference. It's definitely lightweight like they claim. It's definitely got a beautiful natural finish like they claim. It's breathable. I've really enjoyed wearing it on my skin today. I've loved the way that it looks on my skin. It's been comfortable, and with a touch up, it literally looks brand new. So overall, quite impressed with this one. I will continue testing it. I will obviously update you guys on if anything changes. But as a first impression, Nars, you continue to impress me. So that is it for today's video, guys. Please, as always, if you've got any questions to ask me, please pop them down in the comments down below. And I want to know, have you tried this formula? Do you love it? Do you hate it? What's your skin type? If you're asking for me to compare, I would still hands down choose the Soft Matte Complete foundation over this one, just because this one is literally like Photoshop paint on the skin for oily skin types. But certainly if you've got more of a dry skin type or a mature skin type, you're probably going to prefer the new light reflecting formula a lot more. But if you've got any other questions, pop them down below. Give the video a thumbs up if you did enjoy it. Share it with someone that you know. It definitely helps me out. I'm over on Instagram if you want to check me out over there as well. And yes, I love you guys heaps. I hope that you enjoyed the video and found it helpful. I hope it helps you make a decision on whether or not to buy this one. And I will catch you guys in my next one.